Welcome to the Author Blurb podcast. Here, we're here to connect readers and authors so that the readers, you, can find that book or that author you're going to love. So I appreciate you being here. Get ready, enjoy the show, enjoy knowing the authors, and remember, subscribe, tell people about the show, and go buy the author's books, because if you like listening to them and you think they're interesting, they're going to love hearing from you. Welcome to the Author Blurb podcast. I'm doing a review again today. This time it's The Thing from HR. So Roy Griffis wrote this book. He sent me the audiobook. So I listened to it on Spotify. And, you know, the kind of humor, the kind of things that it has going on, I have to say, I enjoyed it. It was funny. It had comedy. It had things that you just kind of sit there and go, what the heck, which I kind of enjoy. But it wasn't done in a way that you sit there and say, yuck. So before I get into too much about this book, just to let you know, on authorblurb.com, the website, you can find all my reviews, the interviews, even this review that I'm doing now. The author Roy Griffis is on there, where you can find his profile and our discussion prior, which I'll have linked in the description, show notes, whatever of this, so that you can go there and find out more about him and his books. So he has multiple books, and he has right now 2 genres that he's writing in. The one that he sent me is because I expressed that I was planning on reading it anyhow. And he knew that I enjoy audiobooks, so, well, I think he knew that from the discussion we also had. But either way, if you listen to him and I talk, you'll get an understanding of the book itself. But as well as just that, with Roy and I talking, I found that his book with The Thing from HR, it caught my attention. In fact, that I think mentioned in the interview is what got me to interview him, because I wanted to know more about that book. Now, at first I'm sitting there thinking H.P. Lovecraft is the basis. He's going to try to stick to a lot of H.P. Lovecraft things and all this. And he uses H.P. Lovecraft as a basis, as an underlining characters, all the things that you hear, the different types of beings, and all this. He brings humor into taking what you would expect from an H.P. Lovecraft character in the other dimension, that these people, these demons, all these creatures, I guess creatures is the only thing I can think of calling them right now. There's elder things. There's a whole slew of creatures and different things in H.P. Lovecraft. Bear with me, because it's been a very long time since I've read H.P. Lovecraft. And his book focuses on The Thing from HR, which is just the first of several books that he has in this. I think it's 3 and a 4th is coming out, if I remember right. And right now, the audiobook, The Thing from HR, the only audiobook I saw was just The Thing from HR. Now, hopefully, I'm hoping he gets all of them out there, because I'll end up buying them and listening to each one of them. The narrator of the audiobook was fantastic. He did a great job. And it was just, to kick it off, the book starts with a Shoggoth. If you don't know what a Shoggoth is, it's, well, actually, I don't know how to describe it. But a Shoggoth is a creature from the H.P. Lovecraft, a lower being, I guess, or a lower demon that is a creature, something, whatever it is, in that realm of existence. Now, the story starts off where the Thing from HR, which is not human resources, but if you listen to our interview, you'll get more of an understanding of it, ends up getting assigned to going to Earth. The story is set in 1940s, I think it is. It was at the time of the invention of the nuclear bomb. They were just starting to, it was set during the time of, they were discovering the power of nuclear fission and all these different things to come in play. So the characters, the main characters, the Shoggoth, and he has, when he starts off, and you'll find this out in the very beginning, when he starts off in his mission on the Earth to try to solve his problem. And there's a couple different problems, a couple different things, and it's just one mess after another this thing's trying to figure out how to deal with. And he's trying to do it in a world that he knows nothing about, so they give him a guide. The guide is from the future or another realm or another time. I forget exactly how that worked, but it was a surfer dude that ended up being shoved into this consciousness with the Shoggoth into a professor on this university. You get that from the very get-go. From the very, I think it's the very first chapter, all this comes into play. So I'm not giving any spoilers away there. And I'm going to try not to give away spoilers, but to be honest with you, it's been maybe 2 or 3 days since I finished the book from the time I'm recording this. And I still am excited and very interested in wanting to move on to the next book. So I actually am hoping very much that the audiobook comes out for the Auditors the audio, I can't even speak. The Auditors novel of this series comes out next, because it was fun, it was interesting, and it had a good ending. It wrapped things up very nicely that I felt I wanted to know more, and I enjoyed the story. So even if I don't hear the next book, I feel satisfied with the first book. And the thing from HR did that. There's just the perception that Roy had to have while writing this, I found to be very interesting, to go from putting himself in the mind of a creature who their understanding of humanity and all this was so limited that to them they were thinking of humanity as the caveman just walking away from being apes, the progressions, all these different things where they didn't think highly of humans. And everything is based off of a very skewed understanding of humanity. As Roy wrote the book, it seems that he was trying to have this Shoggoth in his consciousness go through and discover, build all these things up and compare a lot of things. All of it's really mostly done from their perspective. When I say their, the Shoggoth and the surfer dude that's in this professor's head, and the fact of how they're building the whole storyline, how he builds it and takes it. You don't really, or at least I didn't expect the ending to go the way it did. And it went from one thing to another thing, and it smoothly goes from one to another, building up, where the ending is quite a shock and a happy go one that leads you to say, okay, he thought this out, he planned it. It's not just a spur of the moment, this is what I'm going to let happen, or at least it didn't appear that way. Now, I would highly suggest somebody to go read the book or listen to the audio, buy the printed version, because I enjoyed it. It gave me that smart aleck kind of sense of humor. You had two characters in one person's head, which had different personalities, extremely different personalities. One looking at everything from a futuristic view back, and then one from another dimension. And they're trying to understand what's going on, figure everything out, and all the different things that occur in their mission. It's almost kind of funny on a lot of parts where it talks about the chaos department, I guess, which is not going to be a spoiler in any event. The chaos department sent the Shoggoth to the Earth realm, the dimension, the time frame, whatever it is, to do this mission. But like any good office, they didn't tell him all the facts. They didn't tell him what he was supposed to do. And he was focused on trying to get the mission figured out of what he was even supposed to do. So throughout the story, it's him bumbling, trying to figure out, this is what I need to do. This is the answer. This is this. And it sounds like some of it he was understanding was correct, but mostly not so much. So with that being said, go through, enjoy the book. I surely did. If you enjoy people like, I would similarly compare the writing style and the sense of humor to maybe Monster Hunter International, which is another series I enjoy. If you enjoy the Starky, the kind of misadventures and the trying to find out. Now, mind you, there's not the fighting like in Monster Hunter International, so don't think of it that way. I'm thinking more of the humorous, fun kind of writing sense of humor that you would get from a Larry Correia Monster Hunter International novel. Hopefully that makes sense. If it doesn't, message me. I'll try to explain it better. Or you can beat me to the punch and just go listen to the book on Audible, on Spotify. You can read the book. You can get it on ebook and paper. It's on both versions. In fact, I'm going to probably, if I get time, go and buy all the paper versions of this book as well, just because I like to have the paper versions of books that I enjoy. So hopefully my wife doesn't kill me when I have these 4 books or 3 books series come in. So we'll see. If for some reason I just stop without any words, it's probably because she killed me or I'm in traction from her just beating the daylights out of me. And that's saying a lot from a woman that's about 100 pounds. Now, with that being said, go enjoy it. Hopefully you found this knowledgeable. I promise you, going through this book, you're going to enjoy the adventures, the missteps, the different twists and turns that Roy has put into the novel. And just, if you're like me, you're going to be wanting to go to the next novel very quickly. So, like I said, personally, I'm getting the paper books. I'm looking forward to the audio books of it coming out because I want to continue on the series, and I enjoyed the narrator as well. I mean, I really can't say a whole lot more than that without giving too much away. My mind's thinking about all the stuff that happened, the fact of one of the common themes is just to give you kind of an insight, the surfer guy, his mind is very focused on women. All the things that men love to do with women and what so have you, where the Shoggoth has no understanding of it. To him, fire, women, all these different things, he doesn't understand humans and mankind's either obsession with it or our fear of fire, trying to what happens, all these things. So it's fun. That's fun. I don't believe I remember any cussing. If there is cussing, there was very little that I remember. Nothing you're really going to sit there. I listen to it with my kids around, and there's nothing there that I felt worried about them hearing. So there's that as well. And yeah, it's a ride. It's definitely a fun ride, and Roy does a wonderful job on that. With that being said, that's where I'm going to end it. So thank you. I look forward to having you listen to more interviews that I do, more of these reviews, and you enjoy all that I'm doing. So take the time. Remember, let me know what you think of this. I always love to hear you reach out to me. I love to have you let me know your thoughts. And from there, that's all I have to say. Thank you. See you soon. Talk to you soon.